So just a heads up, it's hot out. Outside in the sun, it's a little over 100. It's super humid. I'm sweating just sitting here. So yeah, excuse the extra sweat that you're seeing. In fact, there's an ice pack underneath this computer that I'm working from. So last night I said I was having some technical difficulties. Part of that was I put the poem on this device and my computer was dead and it was almost midnight. It was bedtime and it was time to go to bed and be with my wife. And I missed my opportunity earlier in the day, and I apologize for that. But here's what I wrote for you all. I actually wrote this yesterday, and I'm going to be sharing a friend that is going under the pen name, I guess you could call it, is Because, B-C-U-Z. I'm going to be sharing one of theirs. It's a bit longer. It's a little more complex. I'm going to be bleeping out some of the swears in it, but it's pretty fire, and I absolutely cannot take credit for it. So this is what I wrote yesterday. There was a moment when I was sort of feeling that in the pursuit of happiness that all of us have, I think a lot of us find moments where we can't really be ourselves. We can't do everything that we want to do because we're playing in this game of capitalism. I know a lot of people here live in America, and I think we're born into capitalism. There are some societies, some days when it might not have quite been like that. Oh, Ollie, hey, Alex. So this was sort of my moment of frustration with it a little bit. Borrowed life on borrowed time. Lyrics don't even feel like mine. Creating art is a crime unless you're making dimes. 5 for the car, roll in the yard. Gotta save up for that Porsche, or it should be saved for the porch. Follow the torch, it gives us a crutch. Roam through the world till our brains labeled like plush. Flush down the drain, life's out of hand, works for the brand. Sick with the feeling of need new Gucci's bags and bands. So let's pack up for the haul, but we need to make a call. Balls in the sack, all that we care about every Sunday in the fall. Oh, that's right, it's a cult. That's not our fault. We were born right into this. Form was mixed before you had a choice in this. Feels like we don't even really fit. Miss is what we want. He wants to be called instead of his. Force till Z picks. Either way, it's a risk. No place for Z's future to stay down on a list. Christ. Cross. Talking no applesauce. This ain't a conversation a toddler is cross. Not even because it's not what they think, more because social constructs don't come with their instincts. So blink to the cat, staring for frozen time, just be in the moment. Trance is what I wished I had instead of games. Forced down to a fairly young age, none to blame besides the makers, knowing they could build a product that would make a product of their logic. Just need to never forget that we lust for our plain nuts. To show its truth, yes. If only we could prove to us that it's worth more than fake news does. I'm sweating. Hope you liked it. Maybe I can put it in the description, but I have a little more time today. Maybe I'll do a little breakdown of it before I go into the other one. Thanks, Ty Speaks. What's up, bro? Shaking, bro. Stephen Bears, bro. Tato, bro. Tato. Spit those lyrics, man. Thank you, Alan. Profile pic is amazing. Say when you were doing extra, does that mean you're doing today? Yeah, I'm gonna do the second one today. Hey, sorry I haven't been on there recently. My friend was making, hey, that's Josh. Josh, do not feel any need to be like daily on here, like supporting me live. Do not feel like that at all. I really support you, and you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah, I literally took a day off because 1, I messed up, and 2, like when the moment came where I didn't have the technical, I was having technical difficulties in the moment I wanted to. So yeah, that was when I wrote, and I'll just, you know, I'll do a little breakdown of it. The beginning part is talking about how sort of says creating art is a crime unless you're making dimes. It's like so many people out there want to just create art. Like we have the means for it, but you know, I don't blame our parents for telling us, hey, go get a job, because we can't stay and just kind of feed off of our parents or the community. Like, unless we're making dimes and making money and bringing enough value to people for our art, then on some level, we're not quite creating enough value in the world for us to eat. So sometimes we have to use our other skills, our talents, our capabilities to make money. Fire for the car, roll a new yard, got to save up for that Porsche, or should we save for the porch? Fire for the car just came out of my brain and I wrote it down. Roll a new yard. Talking about like fixing the yard, because like you roll, if you want new grass in your yard, you roll it. And so for the Porsche or the porch, it's sort of like a lot of times we kind of buy into making it look like we have this luxurious lifestyle. Talking about like having a new porch or having a new yard, like making sure it looks green. Sometimes for us, that's more important than being happy on the inside and letting people know what we're really about. And having nice cars and having a new addition to the house, sometimes that means more to us. And, you know, I'm not saying it's bad, and sometimes it's just what we do. And I think a lot of people are finding more and more that they disagree with that, that's where they want to be coming from. By the way, if by now you've liked this or disliked this, go ahead, drop it a like or a dislike. By the way, you know, some of these lyrics that are sort of filler, it's like it sort of just pops into my brain, I write it down. And the reason being is I feel like if I just write it down, I can kind of keep the flow of thought streaming. But if I stop and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense, then they kind of stop along with it. At some point I said, balls in the sack is all we care about every Sunday in the fall. Mostly the word ball really rhymed right there, and then I wanted to make it sound like I was talking about male genitalia when in fact I was actually talking about footballs, because Sunday in the fall, most people in New England just really care about football. And I've pointed out to people that talk about cults. I was like, if you realize it, cult is just a group of people that share the same culture. And you know, if you go to a football game on Sunday in America, or you know, in New England, I mean, we're the New England Patriots. We got a lot going for the football team. You're going to find a cult of people that care a lot about one thing, and if you go against them, they will dislike you. They will drag you into being a fan. They will hate you for not being a part of that group. So I just wanted to kind of do a little jab at the whole culture of people that call people getting into religious things or getting into groups of people that change them a little bit. So doesn't football. I mean, me being a 20-something-year-old male, if I go into a tailgate, I guarantee I'm going to be offered beer. I'm going to be offered to chug it. I might be peer pressured to do it. That's a cult. It's just what a cult is. It's not whether it's good or bad. Did you see Ty Speaks video yesterday? I have not yet. I've been very on other topics in my life, but today I'm sort of catching up. Another thing I wanted to point out is said, miss is what we wants to be called instead of his. Force till Z picks, either way it's a risk. No place for Z's future to stay down on the list. So for those that know a lot about the LGBTQ plus IA community, people that are going through trans, when they have not decided on he or she pronouns, another option is Z. So I used Z, not talking about myself as Zach, but Z being when in transitioning genders, that's another pronoun. So again, sort of talking about social constructs that force till Z picks, either way it's a risk. You know, if they choose, you know, one day or to stay hidden, or if they choose to say, you know what, I really feel comfortable in more of a female or a male body, like either way it's a risk. And then I said cross talking to applesauce, like they're caught up in the mix, but it's not simple like when we heard crisscross applesauce when we were a kid. This ain't a conversation a toddler has crossed, even because it's not what they think, more because social constructs don't come with their instincts. So, you know, they know how they feel. They know kind of what sort of feminine or masculine traits that they want to show people. And it's not that they're faced with this tough problem here because they think it's a problem. It's because the social constructs sort of create that problem. And then the last part, forced down to a fairly young age, none to blame besides the makers, knowing they could, I forget what I was trying to say, could produce a product to make us a product of their logic. So if we think about Facebook, if we think about a lot of social media, if we think about a lot of people trying to sell their items, a lot of us have become sort of addicted to a lot of the products that have been created out there because that's some people's job. I read a recent article saying that Facebook literally pulls in top executives from like casinos to try to find a way to make things on Facebook more addictive so that you stay on their platform longer, so they can make more money. You can sell more advertisements if more people are on. So it's that we're becoming a product of their logic. And that's sort of more of what makes us who we are today, is the products that we are faced with, that we buy, that we want. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that people found things for us to be addicted to, for us to be consumed by, and that's part of what makes us who we are. And then the last part was of their logic, just need to forget that we have a lust for our planet, to show the truth. Yes, if only we could prove to us that it's worth more than fake news does. I think a lot of people care more about politics. They care about watching TV. They care about, hearing what the America's administration has been doing, the Trump administration. And sometimes we forget about what we really care about. Sometimes it's making the planet a better place, whether it be the people inside of it or the planet itself. And so we become a product of their logic rather than being a product of what we create ourselves to be. So are you streaming on anything else? Not currently. Mostly because, actually, I could go on Facebook or Instagram, but I was going to use my phone to do the second piece here. Thanks for asking. I haven't seen the video of my leg yet, but so yeah, I'm looking forward to you seeing it, Tahoe. So Tahoe is commenting on, they sent me a letter via email for me to read as an anonymous letter. And on my other channel, Zachary Watson, that there's now 3,000 subscribers, a lot of people from the LGBTQ plus community have been on there. So I figured I should give them what I think they might want, which is an opportunity to speak their feelings anonymously, and for them to have a voice in a world that may keep them voiceless. Sorry, AT&T talking. Yes, Libby, send me an email. Remember to do the thing share instead of ideas over coffee. Debbie, most discouraged in your soul, see it's the world most struggling. Absolutely. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to hit you with the second one. So this next one's not by me. It is not by me, not by ThinkShare, not by Zach Watson. This one is one of my friends that made it, and it's kind of long. Actually, it's not that long, but it's really good. I'm going to apologize ahead because I've read through it once, but there's a lot going on in here, like a lot. I'm going to bleep out a couple swears that they had because I want to keep it clean on this channel, but some really good stuff. Also, I'm probably going to mispronounce some things, probably the way it was intended. The pen name of this person is Because, B-C-U-Z. So I'm going to share this with you. I asked them permission if I could share it, and they said, sure, as long as you give me the pen name Because. So here it is. And I don't think there's a title for it. Okay. From these ambitions I'm reeling, mo efforts is peeling. While I savor this feeling, y'all just wheeling and dealing. I stand tall because I'm sealing up this fate while you kneeling at the gate of possessions. Material lies teach you lessons, don't need to pay for the sessions, concessions, or Smith & Wessons. Mercenary like Hessians, let me spin revolutions, there lies the solution. Shed the money and the power just like honey from flower. Preheat the oven, let's scour these dirty dishes while sour, puckered souls remain dour. It's not the weak we devour, but the coven which cowers beneath foundations and towers built by cowards who shower condensations of blood let from the meek in the mud, just like sows for the slaughter. You forsake your own daughter, realize that you taught her to value time as a number. Stress and pain make her number close to spiritual slumber. These gross incomes discover you've made these riches your lover. Turn your back on a brother, remember earth is your mother. Gold and silver you cover Corvettes and watches while you ignore the swatches of color pressing the pedal beyond the splendor of metal. Paper chasing a store of value no more, stacked by standard behavior. Can't you see you're a slave, your pretty wealth like a savior, merely cerebral like Xavier illusions of worth. Merely cerebral like Xavier illusions of worth in your mind, deceived, believing that rinds of citrus protects from these texts, these nines of scurvy and death. While the fruit underfoot stains your boot, you've forgotten until the flesh becomes rotten in your treads. You've been caught in the bread alone like a drone. Ignore what warns to abhor this evil mammon adored. Don't act so floored when I tell you the only hell's the one they sell you. Words ring true like a bell which tolls a tune you know well. You've embraced a life faced with strife. Cut all ties with a knife. Make this virtue your wife. Freedom now lies within. Led a life freed from sin. That was because I would almost say that was a similar in sentiment of the one that I just did. Much more skillfully written. I think some of those words I've probably heard once in my life, and I don't really recognize them, but I mean, I could tell what a lot of them were. The rhyming's some next level stuff. I gotta say, I look forward to, I hope this person lets me continue to share some of their stuff, and I'm hoping at some point they will let me have them on this channel live stream. They don't have a channel themselves, but they make some really awesome art. They shared a couple things with me before. Sometimes I'll send them my poetry back and forth, and this person's very talented. So I really hope you get to meet them in person. So you're not just meeting them through their own words, but I hope you get to meet their face as well at some point. All right, well, I think that was it. I mean, I feel like that was even more straightforward than mine. I think it talks a lot about how people are choosing possessions over noticing that the world and the globe, the earth is what we really care about, I think, in our hearts, and we get distracted. And we become slaves to these things. I think they were a little, this one was a bit less tame in talking about the things specifically that I think I was trying to get to, but they had no problem sort of voicing their opinion about that. So thank you to BCuz, BCUZ. I don't believe they have any form of social media that you can follow. They can find more of their stuff. So hopefully I'll get to keep sharing it through this channel, and hopefully it'll come on these days. Share. Tahoe Bryant, yeah, go ahead and do that. Yeah, I think that's it for today. Last week, a bunch of my my interviews got canceled via my own issues, and people also had to cancel. So I do look forward to bringing interviews back to you. I got a couple people that I've been talking with. Feel free to email me stuff. I've been told to check my P.O. box because there might be something in there. So thank you all for listening and sharing. If you like this, give it a like. If you dislike this, give it a dislike. If you want more, subscribe. If you like the rhymes, you got at least 15 more days of it. You can also check out Gemma Grace, who's been doing the 21-day poetry challenge. Hers is a bit more free form, I would say. And I'm going to be putting this video in a playlist. And if you're watching a playback, you should be able to find the playlist right about now on one of these sides. Yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Thank you. Stay weird, humans. Yay!